It's time to talk about what I'm reading in September. And it's time to bring back TBR Plinko. Now, clearly, this video is going up a little late. As I speak, it is already a week into September. Things happened. I am super behind. I just got super busy near the end of August with my 30th birthday and just like other family stuff. So I just didn't have time to do all the things I wanted to do. Time got away from me. But regardless, I have hope that I can read all the things I want to read before the end of September. We'll see. I'm just gonna have to buckle down a little bit. Because while I am doing TBR Plinko, I am also participating in Becca's Bookaplathon, as well as the new magical Readathon. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy couple of weeks. So I'm gonna be doing this video in 3 parts. I'm going to start with TBR Plinko, move on to Bookaply, and then finish with magical Readathon. And hopefully some of these books can carry over throughout all 3 readathons, or else I am in trouble. So let's fill up the Plinko board with my first prompts. Now what I do need to say is that I actually didn't totally finish my Plinko board. I thought I was finished, but I forgot to do this and this. Normally this is my add a book prompt and this is my mood read prompt. I forgot to make those, so for now, for this month, we are just gonna fill in with other prompts, and hopefully going forward, I will fix that. These are self-explained, but maybe I'll just go through them quickly. Over there we have Last Chance. That's an author that I've read from before and I just really haven't liked their stuff, and so this is kind of my last chance with their work to decide if I'm going to keep reading from them. Top Rated is something that's highly rated on my Goodreads. Kindle Unlimited is something from Kindle Unlimited. Treat is just something that's easy, something that's fun, probably erotica, let's be real. Random is I randomize my Goodreads TBR in some way and just pick a number from it using a random number generator. TBR Vet is something that's been on my TBR for a very long time. Pet Pick is I have 2 cats and I put a couple books out and let them pick one. Horror, sci-fi, pretty self-explanatory, and Ugly Cover is just something that I think has a terrible cover but I want to read it anyway. So I'm gonna do 5 drops. If I happen to get the same number 3 times somehow, then I will add another drop, but hopefully that will not happen here. So let's go. Six. Oh yeah, I'm just using a tea light because like, I have nothing else to use right now. We're starting off with Pet Pick, which my cats are not good at this game, but it is always kind of cute. I know. All right. That's the book I'll choose.
You're never going to be able to read that book now. He's going to pounce on you anytime you open it. In fact, he's just going to hunt down all these books.
So for Pet Pick, as I'm sure you just saw, my cat Fry chose Confessions by Kanae Minato. This book is about a teacher who decides to resign after some sort of accident happens on the middle school grounds. I've heard about this book for years and yet I still don't know a ton about it. I know that it's spooky, I know it's some sort of revenge tale because I believe this class has something to do with her daughter's death. And I love the idea of this slow unraveling of what happened and not fully knowing until she's finished the story. I'm really looking forward to this. I just don't know where it's gonna go and I kind of love that. Blank word title just means that I put, oh boy, hi. Are you my assistant? Are you Vanna White? Blank word title means that I will put 1 to 10 or so in a random number generator, and whatever number that is, then I need to find a book with that many words in the title. You're gonna need to move, baby. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute though. What do I do with this? I think you can still see the numbers, right? I think so. 2. Kindle Unlimited. That's easy. I got tons of shit on Kindle Unlimited. For Kindle Unlimited, I decided I'm going to pick up American Prince by Sierra Simone. I read the first book in this series last month and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite, but I thought it was really unique. I think Sierra Simone just absolutely kills it with sex scenes, and so I'm really looking forward to where this next book is gonna go, because the first book felt like a foundation layer and now we can get to the really good stuff. This book kind of follows a triad, as you will. This triad consists of the President of the United States, his new wife, and their boyfriend, the President's bodyguard. I love a book about any sort of polyamory. I especially love it in an erotica sense because obviously that's just super fun and hot, and I can't wait to read more of these characters. So I'm replacing that with TBR Fear. Mostly that means that I had a bunch of letters left over and I didn't know what to make of them, and I came up with that. But also it just means something on my TBR that I'm afraid to read, whether I'm intimidated or whatever. 7. Horror. Perfect. I love some horror. That's why I added it. It was because I wanted to read more horror in my life because I just don't find myself picking it up organically. So this was to kind of make myself do that. I do plan on reading a ton of horror next month. I actually have an entire plan for how I want my reading and stuff to go in October. And like, I just have so much horror goodness planned, I guess, for that month. But I could use a horror book this month as well, just to get myself ready for the spooky season. For horror, I'm gonna read Wylding Hall by Elizabeth Hand. This book is about a rock group that goes to this place to film their kind of masterpiece record, the record that's really gonna make them big. And while they're there recording this material, one of the members of their band goes missing, never to be seen again. Years later, they decide to go back to this building with a documentary film crew of some sort and try to figure out what really happened. I don't know if they know the building is already haunted before they decide to record their album there, or if it is known as haunted because of what happens there, but I'm really intrigued. This kind of reminds me of like the movie Session 9. Obviously that doesn't have a musical aspect, but I don't know, for some reason that reminds me of each other. I saw this book on a lot of like best horror lists, so I'm excited to check it out. Replacing that with comic, which is pretty self-explanatory. 0. Ugly cover.
Editing Amy here. I have literally no idea how I fucked this up, considering 0 is on the entire separate end of the board. But regardless, the prompt I actually have is Last Chance Author. And so for this, I'm going to read Adam. I read The Ritual by him and DNF'd it at 12%, which I think is the lowest I've ever DNF'd a book at, but it was just so trash. It was so bad. The writing was abhorrent. They kept mentioning how fat each character was. They were just like awful people. It was so unreadable that I just couldn't get any farther in it. But I've heard really good things about No One Gets Out Alive, so I have some hope that I might like this one. And if I don't, then I will not be reading from Adam Nevill again.
And the last prompt I'll be sticking in here is new author. For that, I just mean an author who's new to me, not that they're a debut author, just that it's an author I haven't read from before. And time for the last drop. Again. TBR Fear, so something I'm intimidated by or afraid to read. For TBR Fears, I'm going to be reading Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. I don't love classics. This is something that I already knew about myself, but I definitely had that confirmed when I tried to read books before I turned 30, and it did not happen. I read 5 in total over the course of 2 years. It wasn't great. So classic books are definitely something like I do not look forward to. They intimidate me. Even the ones that I enjoy still intimidate me because of the fact that they're classics and I just think I'm not going to enjoy them, or I think they're going to go over my head. But there's still a lot that I'm interested in, so I'm going to try another one. But I think it fits for TBR Fear. So in Flowers for Algernon, I believe that it is about a man who goes through this kind of medical trial that involves treating some sort of brain tumor or brain issue that he is having. It has been tested on mice first, and that is why he's able to go through with this. But then they start to see that the mice are aging backwards, or like their IQ's going down, or they're dying. I don't totally know. I know that this one is short, and so I feel like I'm more likely to finish it. It's not one of the ones I ever read in school, and hopefully I enjoy it. And hopefully next month I'll be able to tell you more about it. Alright, so clearly this is not the flattest game board ever, but I think it'll work for our purposes here. I did not think to grab something to use as a character, so I'm just gonna use this button. I have my dice, and we're going to roll 5 rolls, just like Becca does. Same rules, if I get doubles I have to roll again, etc. Here's my first roll. Please be good to me, I only have 3 weeks to read things. And we have our first double already. I swear to God, this board, every TBR I've seen of people doing this have gotten doubles on their first rolls. I don't even know if you can see my roll. Yeah, I think you can. Okay, so that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So TBR Vet. So for TBR Vet, I will be reading Flowers for Algernon. It is literally on the oldest page on my Goodreads, so it is one of the first books I guess I ever had on my Goodreads. Time for my second roll. Let's hope I don't get any more doubles. 7. Hyped. Easy enough. So for Hyped, I'm going to be reading The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. I don't actually watch a lot of book talk, it just like does not get recommended to me, but I have heard that this book is very popular on book talk and is really being pushed there. I've seen it show up a lot on BookTube because people have been reading it because of that. And for some reason, I'm just like immediately drawn to it. I have no idea why, because normally this isn't something I'd want to read, but I have yet to see anybody who hasn't enjoyed this book. Where did I put my phone? So my phone is not next to me and I actually don't know where it is. So I'm gonna take a stab at guessing what this book is about. I could be describing a whole different book to you. I don't know. So I believe that the Atlas 6 is about this chapel that burned down a while ago. I don't remember what it's called. And it stores all this hidden information that I believe has some sort of magical leanings that the rest of the world doesn't know about. Only specific people are allowed to know about it. I don't know what happens after that. I know that this is supposed to be like very dark academia. I believe someone compared it to like X-Men. I could be totally talking out of my ass right now. I have no idea. I know so little about this, and yet I've heard so many people talk about it, but you know what? I'm excited. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna hopefully love it. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel really good about this one. Time for roll number 3. Oh my god. Okay. Something new. For new, I'm gonna read The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. I read the first book to this series last month and I adored it. I really didn't know what to think going into it. If you haven't picked up this book yet and you've wanted to, definitely pick it up on audiobook because that's how I ingested it and it was incredible. But I can totally see the flaws and I can totally see why it wouldn't be as fun to read it physically. The Last Graduate is the second book in the Scholomance series. Basically, the series is all about this magical school that is basically trying to kill you. It has a ton of different monsters who are trying to kill you, and you just have to get through it alive. It follows this snarky main character who just really wants to prove herself and obviously graduate from the school and make it into the real world. She ends up getting tangled up, much to her reluctance, with the class hero. And it kind of just goes on from there. I'm really, really looking forward to the next book in this series. It comes out this month, so it is going to be brand spanking new. And I am just going to binge the audiobook when I get it. All right, roll number 3 of 7. 10. Something opulent. Ooh, interesting. I feel like maybe some sort of royal romance could work for this. Oh, actually, no, I totally know what I'm reading for this. For opulent, I'm choosing American Prince by Simone. Like I mentioned, the love interest in this book is the President of the United States, so a lot of this book tends to focus on opulence, tends to focus just on like beautiful, expensive gowns and these massive balls and parties they have to attend, and so I definitely think this counts here. 3. 1, 2, 3. Steal a book. Okay, so I'm gonna have to watch somebody's TBR video and take a book off their TBR. Huh, that'll be interesting because I feel like I'm kind of picky. So for this, I'm choosing to steal a book from Steph Loves TBR, and that one is going to be Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I got the audiobook for this for free from Audible like a couple months ago, and so I feel like this one will be a really easy one to binge before I pick up the audiobook for the Naomi Novik one, because it doesn't come out until later in the month. I don't know a ton about Red Rising, to be honest. Like, I picked it up because it was free, and I know that it is a teenage dystopian series, but I've heard some pretty good things. People seem to like it. There were a lot of crappy YA dystopians that came out back when I was in high school, but I've heard this is one of the better ones. And hopefully next month I'll be able to tell you if I agree. Roll number 6. 9. The, of, and, an. That should be easy. So that just means read a book that starts with or includes the words the, of, and, or an. I feel like that leaves a lot of wiggle room. For this one, I'm choosing The Hunger by Alma Katsu. So this is basically the retelling of a historical event, but with a horror lens. So this book is basically the Donner Party, but with zombies. I love that sort of idea. I love the idea of taking something that actually happened and just like twisting it and making it something super dark. Although I guess the main story is pretty dark to begin with, let's face it. But I love the idea of just telling this in a new and fresh way. I've really also wanted to check out The Deep by Alma Katsu, although I've heard terrible reviews about it. But regardless, I've really been looking forward to this one, and I really hope I like it. And now for hopefully what is my last roll. It is indeed my last roll, and I got an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Small book. Oh, what a nice one to end on. For small book, I'm reading Wylding Hall by Elizabeth Hand. This book, I believe, is around 150 pages-ish, so this definitely counts. Another series I do here on my channel is BookTube Made Me Buy It, where I kind of read books that I've bought because of one specific booktuber. I'm actually putting one out this month that is specifically about Becca from Becca with the Books, and I didn't do that on purpose. That was just good timing. I feel like it's really nice that I get to put out that video during the month that I'm participating in her readathon, so be on the lookout for that. So now we've got the Magical Readathon, which is just such a fun readathon. This is hosted by G over at Book Roast. Now, I haven't filled out my form yet. I will take time to do that. I just haven't yet. Like I said, super behind on goddamn everything. But regardless, I have figured out a couple key elements to my character. I'm definitely going to be using the urban prompt because I'm a city girl, not currently, but like in spirit. And I've also decided that I'm going to be an air earthling. I haven't chosen my province yet. I'm definitely choosing between either Dark Meadow or Carador, but I haven't decided which yet, so I'm not going to pick a book for that prompt yet. But I will in the future because that's one of the ones that you can do all the way up until April, which thank God for that because I don't know if I'm going to totally have time to finish the books I chose for that section, but we'll see. Now, pretty much all these books on this list happened to overlap with some of the previous ones, so I'm not going to talk a lot about them. I'm just going to mention which prompt they're for. I know that you only need to finish 2 of the prompts here in order to make it through the novice path and up to the school, but I decided to pick one for every single prompt because I'm not very bright. So for the novice path entrance, which the prompt is to read a book with a map, I chose The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. I have no idea if this actually has a map in it because I am going to be reading the audiobook or listening to the audiobook, but I know that the first book had a map in it, so I'm just assuming that the second book will as well. The second location is Ashtorn Tree, and the prompt is a book that keeps tempting you or the top of your TBR. For that, I used the Atlas 6 because, like I said, for some freaking reason, I'm just like craving it. The next location is The Mist of Solitude, read a standalone. For that, I have Flowers for Algernon. Then we have Ruin of the Sky, which is read a book featuring ghosts or haunted house or other supernatural elements. For that, I chose Wylding Hall because I'm pretty sure that it's going to be supernatural. It sounds like it has haunting elements to the building. The next is Obsidian Falls, read a thriller or a mystery book. For that, I'm reading Caught by Harlan Coben. So I believe that this is about an investigator who takes down sexual predators in some sort of television sting operation. But now she's kind of gotten stuck in somebody else's web, I guess. I don't totally know a lot about this. I know Harlan Coben is like a very talked about thriller writer, but I've never read anything from him. So I'm really excited to check this one out in particular because I love Law & Order SVU, and I'm probably going to be picturing Mariska Hargitay while I read this. Then we've got Tower of Rumination, read a 5-star prediction, and that's The Hunger by Alma Katsu. Like I said, I'm really thinking I'm going to love this book. I actually included it on my 5-star prediction list from like 2 or 3 years ago, so that definitely counts. Next, we've got Orilium Academy Arc, book with a school setting. So this one actually doesn't overlap with any of the other ones. And for this, I'm going to be reading Everblaze by Shannon Messenger. This is the third book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. I read the first 2 pretty recently and just like kind of fell in love with them. It's really scratching my itch for the Nevermore series. The series is about a girl who finds out she's actually an elf, and she ends up having to leave her human parents and go into the elf world. And she has to start at school and catch up with her studies and also try and figure out this mystery that's going on, why she was hidden in the human world, why she has these crazy powers, etc., etc. I just really love it. I don't know why. I'm totally sucked into this world. I think it's really fun. So I'm currently actually reading this book already because, like I said, we are a week into September and this is a book I started near the beginning of the month. So those are all the prompts I need to read for this month, but I have chosen some of my character creation prompts, so I'm going to list those as well, and hopefully I will just finish those before April. So for urban, the prompt was book set in a city or town. I chose American Prince by Sierra Simone. It takes place in Washington, D.C. because it follows the President of the United States, so that one I am going to finish this month. But then the other one I chose was for heritage, and like I said, I'm going to be an air earthling, which meant that I need to read a book with elemental magic or an element word in the book or series title, air, fire, earth, or water. So I chose In Flight by RK Lilley, and the series is called Up in the Air. So this is a smutty romance about a flight attendant. I don't know much more about it than that. I've read books from RK Lilley in the past, and I really like the way she writes sex scenes. I also really like the way that she writes certain dynamics. So I'm hoping that this one has a hate to love dynamic because she really excelled at that in the book Arranged. So that's it. Those are my reading plans for the rest of September. Please wish me luck. I hope you like this video, and I hope you come back in soon. Bye.